Today's tip is for those times when you would like to be influential. You'd like to get your idea across, or you'd like to compel some sort of action, get some sort of agreement so that you can take action. But you anticipate that others are going to have some objection, that there will be some reason why they don't want to proceed in the same way that you do. So I'd like to give you some thoughts about how to anticipate those objections and handle them in a way that's more effective. The first thing is that you have to be able to step back enough to not become defensive. If you become defensive and you then become aggressive, pushing your idea and stepping on other people's ideas and input and not giving them an opportunity to ask questions, if you have this reflective, defensive response, well, people are going to discredit your idea because of how strongly your emotions are overriding what they might think to be a reasonable look at the whole picture. So try to step back and not lead with a defensive response. That doesn't mean that you can't have the emotion and the passion, and it certainly doesn't mean that you can't speak with conviction about what you believe. It does mean, though, that you want to remain open to hearing others' ideas and to modeling for them the way that you want to dignify what they have to contribute to. As you are anticipating the objection, you can prepare for it, and the best way to prepare for it is to understand the position the other person might have, to understand why they feel the way they feel, what causes them to want to advocate for their solution or idea over yours. When you can get into their shoes and understand their perspective, you'll be able to empathize, and you'll be able to more clearly evaluate their option versus your option. When you do that, you might be able to collaborate in a way where it's not either or, but there's opportunity for both solutions to become a part of what you ultimately end up doing. So anticipate by getting to the other person's perspective. Ask questions if you need to. That actually is another good thing to model because you would like people to fully understand your position too. Now, when the objection is expressed, go ahead and make sure that it's a real objection, that it is the thing, the one thing that's truly standing in the way. And there's only one way that you can do that. The only way that you can be sure it's the real objection is by posing a question that hypothetically puts the opposite out there. So if somebody says, "We can't do that because it costs too much," the opposite of that is that it doesn't cost too much. So you would say, "Let me just check in. If you didn't feel that this cost too much, would we then be proceeding with my idea?" Because one of two things will happen. Either they say, "Yes, it's just the cost," and then you know that is the objection that you have to address. Or they say, "Well, hell no, on top of the cost, I also have this concern." And now you're digging down. You're finding out more about these real barriers, these real objections that are in your way and that need to be addressed. When you challenge an objection in this way, sometimes people back off from it. They realize for themselves that they can't justify the objection. And sometimes that means that they will acquiesce and they'll accept your solution. So this is not something that you do to be manipulative, but it is something you do to shed light on the situation and on the position, both for your own consideration and the consideration of the other party. I hope you keep coming back. Every time we meet here, we're talking about ways that you can avoid lazy thinking, ways that you can continue to build your mental might. And because you build your mental might, you build your confidence and your opportunities to be more influential.